Welcome back to another episode of The Scoreboard. Tumultuous week. Been a lot of stuff happened that we have to talk about, but today, Smokey, we are actually not alone. We have a special guest, and guess what? It's not JJ, because JJ isn't special anymore. He's been on here several times. This one actually is a more special guest because it's his first time on the show. Smokey is someone that you are very familiar with, a fellow podcast hoster and Atlanta rapper, Hollywood 6. Hollywood, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, guys. I appreciate y'all having me on the show, and I'm excited to get going, man. Got a bunch of good games I'm eager to talk about and eager to go over. So yeah, I'm definitely ready to get it in.
Absolutely, we have a great slate of games, but before that, we have to recap last week. So we'll start it off with the results as always, because that's the most important part. And Smokey, you are obviously the scorekeeper. How was the predictions looking?
They weren't bad. They weren't bad this week, man. But you did gain some ground on me. I was catching up to you.
All right, that sounds good.
You got 12 this week. I got 10.
That's not bad at all.
And yeah, it was all because of some late game comebacks, and some people won that shouldn't have, you know. But
shouldn't have.
Some would argue that the Falcons would be one of those teams.
Yeah, they definitely are one of those teams.
Yeah, I think the Falcons are a symptom of a new coordinator. I mean, new defensive coordinator. I mean, well, not technically new to the team. He was the wide receiver coach, and they shifted him to defensive coordinator during the bye week.
The receiver coach as a defensive coach?
Yes, they did, because he is defensive mastermind, and apparently he should have been there the whole time.
That doesn't usually happen.
Well, of course, but they had to do something.
Right. I'm curious. It seems to be working.
I'm curious. Did you go against the Falcons on that game, Smokey?
I sure did.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure we all did. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we all picked the Panthers.
Mm-hmm. Now, who wouldn't after all those losses? I mean, and then you see them come out and beat the stew out of the Saints, which felt good.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're all high fiving, but no one expected. I mean, everybody thought that was a fluke. No one expected them to keep doing that. But they did it to the Panthers. So what else can we say except for they'll probably do that to the Bucs at this point?
Well, we'll see. I mean, we said that last week. If they do it again, then there might be something to it. And they did it again. Mm-hmm. So curious to see those predictions. But one thing we'll have to bring up before we get into predictions. The occurrences of last Thursday night's game between the Browns and the Steelers, and the fallout from that. So, for anyone who hasn't seen it, which is no one, by the way, at the very end of the game, Browns are winning by 2 scores. The Steelers run a running back screen to basically run the clock. Myles Garrett sacks or takes down Mason Rudolph. They get in a scuffle. He pulls his helmet off and proceeds to hit him over the head with it.
Didn't he knock him out?
He did not knock him out. Fortunately, he did not. And madness ensues as several Steelers offensive linemen beat up on Myles Garrett. And the game ends with no one really caring about the result. The Browns won at 21-7. Everyone's talking about this. A day later, suspensions hail in from Roger Goodell. Myles Garrett suspended indefinitely, at least for the rest of this season. Marquise Pouncey suspended 3 games, and Larry Ogunjobi 1 game. Fines are, I believe, at this point still to be determined, but I'm expecting them to be hefty. Both franchises have been fined, I think, $250,000. So quite a big fallout there. Smokey, Hollywood. I don't even know how to start with this, but I'm gonna hand it to you. What do you think?
Well, if you don't mind me jumping in front of you, Smokey.
Yeah, sure.
Before we talking about the Steelers-Browns, I'm just curious, who's winning on you guys' predictions? Like, who's in the lead?
Alex is winning by 5 points now.
By 5.
105 to 100. And,
nice.
We both broke 100, which is really good, considering we had some bad weeks, and through week 12 to have 100 correct games is pretty damn good.
Right.
Close, yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, going off of this Steelers-Browns Thursday night football game, the Browns, they took it 21-7. They were in Pittsburgh, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
I think they were in Cleveland.
I
think it was in Cleveland, yeah.
It's crazy because Rudolph, he threw for 23 out of 44 for a total of 221 yards, which isn't that bad. I mean, I guess that would be a 50%.
the stats probably sound better than he looked, because he looked horrible.
But he also turned it over 4 times. He turned it over 4 times.
Yeah.
So that was a big. Definitely did not have a good performance there.
I want to say he threw about 53 interceptions in that game, but I could be wrong.
Close.
Yeah, but just speaking on Nick Chubb, man, I mean, he didn't find much room for running. I mean, we all can admit that Pittsburgh, they have overall a pretty decent defense, you know. But overall, he still managed to get 92 yards, but that was on 27 carries. So, yeah.
It looked like the Steelers offense didn't produce much of anything in this game, which we expected to be kind of a close game. I think we all picked the Steelers last week, actually. So, in terms of just that, the Browns have not been looking too bad lately, but it's definitely not a win that you want to celebrate like any other because of the fallout from that big brawl at the end.
Right. Well, you kind of I don't blame anyone for not picking the Steelers, because what were they on? They were on a 3-game win streak, 4-game win streak. They started 0-3 and then were 5-5, so they were, or 5-4 rather. So they were not doing bad at all.
All right. Yeah. Well, when it comes down to the fight, man, I'll say this: Pouncey probably shouldn't have been. Pouncey was doing his job, defending his quarterback. That's what you do on the field, and you protect that quarterback in skirmishes, you know, in any kind of extracurricular activity that happens on the field, you know. So he's doing his job. He's doing what he's been trained to do. So I don't think Pouncey should have been suspended, but I get it. They're going to do it, because if they didn't do it, then somebody's going to raise a big stink about it. Which
it would be biased.
But,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you cut out for a second, so I didn't know if we lost you or whatever. But Miles was completely in it wrong. That's for sure. But we can't say that Mason Rudolph is innocent at all, because he definitely took part in that. And I saw David Carr, actually not saw him, but I heard him on a podcast defending the whole situation. Basically, he's like, well, this stuff happens in practice all the time. Neither one of these guys were truly wrong. He was saying that, you know, Miles was doing what a lot of people do, you know, when they get into a fight on the field. They try to take the other person's helmet off, which Mason was doing that also. He was saying that Rudolph was wrong for getting up and trying to reach over the defender to keep fighting. I mean, offensive lineman to keep fighting.
But he has to defend himself, though. I mean, you're just not going to let someone punch you in your face.
Well, what David Carr was saying is that once the linemen got there, Mason should have stayed out of it. He should have just let them handle it like they're supposed to.
Well, here's the thing, right? If David Carr said that, then I'm starting to believe that David Carr himself took too many shots to the head, because what we saw there, that's not a equal situation. That's not a fight that just happens. That's assault. That is criminal assault on the side of Myles Garrett, and he is the guy that is to blame and at fault for this entire situation. Listen, there's a fundamental rule in football, right? And this applies on every level, and more so than anything at the NFL. First of all, the play's over for like 10 seconds, right? Not only is the play over, but the game is over. And one rule in the NFL is that when someone's helmet comes off,
the play
you stop.
Right.
Everything stops. You drop everything you do and you stay where you're. Someone's helmet comes off, it's over. And no matter what.
Well, with
and
that,
first of all,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
First of all, to take Rudolph down in the way that he did, locking his arms. Listen, what I know about Myles Garrett now, I have to assume that he was trying to hurt him on the takedown, because that's how you do that. You lock the guy's arms, you drop him, his head hits the turf first. That's the textbook technique on how to concuss a quarterback. That's what he did. Unnecessary. Completely unnecessary. That's a penalty. And if you want to be strict, that's a fine.
Right.
He starts ripping at his face mask. His helmet is buckled, by the way. I don't know if y'all ever had on a football helmet. It's hard to remove it when that helmet is buckled. It's pinned up. He's twisting his head around by the face. He picks him up by the face mask. He's twisting. He could have broke his neck right there. Twists his helmet, rips it off his head.
Well, you said that.
And Mason Rudolph. Yeah.
You said that was an assault, and I know he's suspended indefinitely.
Yes.
Do you,
Yes.
because assault being a civil matter, do you think charges would be brought up in an actual court of law?
I'll get there. I'm gonna get to that point. He rips his helmet off, walks away with it. Mason Rudolph pursues him. Of course, the guy has his helmet, and he just tried to hurt me several times. Yeah. He whacks him over the head, not in the way that I think Antonio Smith did to Richie Incognito, where he kind of whacked it sideways, like with a limp arm, and hit him in the gut. He threw a haymaker at him with a deadly weapon. The guy is now wearing it's assault with a deadly weapon. That's what it is. Throws a haymaker at him, swings down on the top of his head, and praise the Lord, he hits him with the bottom of his helmet, with the padded sort of soft side of the helmet. If he hits him with the crown of the helmet, with the kind of power that he was swinging at, that is no different as swinging a baseball bat at someone's head. And Mason Rudolph might get heavily concussed, skull fracture, he might get killed on national live television after the game's over, after the play's over. And I'll get to the legal matter, but to me, Myles Garrett got off easy. Not one, not two, 3 times. He got off easy 3 times in the whole situation. The first time he got off easy is when he only took 2 punches and a kick from Marquise Pouncey, because the entire line should have ganged up on him and beat him up right then and there. The second time that he got off easy is when the league suspended him only in quotation marks indefinitely, because to me, this is a lifetime ban. No reinstatement, nothing. You can't have this. This is different than anything we've ever seen. And the third time he got off easy is when Mason Rudolph's agent decided not to pursue legal charges, because he easily could have done it, and we've seen it before. And James Harrison, by the way, James Harrison is known for being a tough guy, right? For big hits, dirty hits, stretching the rules. I found this so telling, because James Harrison tweeted after the game, what Myles Garrett just did right there, that's assault. That's 6 months in jail. Now add the weapon in, that's at least a year if it happened on the streets. And that's the fact of the matter. And this was so far away from any football related activity, because it happened so far after the play, after the game was basically over, that Mason Rudolph could easily press charges here. And Myles Garrett would go to jail for this. And he decides not to do it. He's suspended indefinitely, at least for the rest of the season. And start of next season, he is able to apply for reinstatement and might play the season opener for the Cleveland Browns, which I think is a travesty, if you will. I don't want to see Myles Garrett ever playing a snap in the NFL again.
Wow.
Because this is different from anything we've ever seen. Listen, the name Vontaze Burfict rings a bell with all you guys, obviously, right?
Right.
And we've seen Vontaze Burfict being suspended for all kinds of games earlier this year after he put a dirty hit on the Colts tight end. And for him, it was because he's a massive repeat offender, because he basically does it all the time, or he's done it so many times.
He's the most fined man in the NFL.
Is that a fact?
So Myles Garrett, yes, that is a fact. And he's been playing for a while. Myles Garrett averages more dirty hits, more roughing penalties, and more fines than Vontaze Burfict does on a game-to-game basis. And Myles Garrett's only been in the league for 2-3 years, so the total numbers aren't there, but he's on the course there. And I have no defense for him. I think what he did is this one action is worse than all of Vontaze Burfict's hits ever combined. Because what Burfict does is he plays football in a way that they don't want you to play anymore. Burfict is in the same category, he's caught in the wrong time. He's in the same category with you guys like Bill Romanowski, Ronnie Lott, Albert Hainsworth, the hard hitters, Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, the guys who'll take your head off. Everything Vontaze Burfict does 20 years ago would have not been a problem, would have been a legal football play. What Myles Garrett did for the last 200 years would land him in jail if he didn't do it on a football field. This is completely away from everything we've seen. The closest that people have compared it to is the situation with Albert Hainsworth, when he took someone's helmet off, stepped on his face. And just for comparison's sake, I looked that up. I looked that video up, and he brushed the guy's face with the bottom of his shoes. Now, granted, Albert Hainsworth is a big dude. The guy had all kinds of stitches in his face. Terrible act. I get it. This is far beyond anything we've ever seen. And in my opinion, Myles Garrett should never take another snap in the NFL, because right now, if you're an NFL quarterback, player whatsoever, you're playing against the Browns,
you're going to have your guard up.
You have to assume that this guy is is unstable enough to snap, and he might kill you on that field. And Mason Rudolph's agent tweeted this out. He said, "There's a lot of responsibilities that come with being an NFL quarterback. You take on a lot of risks, but being hit on your unprotected head with a helmet, with a blunt object like that, is not one of them." I agree with that 100%, and I hope the league would agree with that.
Awesome. If I could just interject here for a second, Mason Rudolph, is he suspended for any games?
No, he's not suspended for any games. It's Myles Garrett, it's Pouncey, which, by the way, I don't agree with. Like you said, Smoke, I think Pouncey should not be. I think Pouncey, by the way, gained massive reputation not in the Steelers locker room, but in the entire NFL player base, and he's a good candidate to run for the president of the NFLPA next time, and I'm sure he'll get some votes. Because what he showed was just that's correct behavior. And by the way, this is no different than behavior on the street. If you walk down the street with a friend and someone started smashing him over the head with a blunt object, you make sure that guy goes to the ground and stays on the ground.
So Mason Rudolph is going to play next game, right?
He's going to play next game.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Also, I want to me and Smokey were talking off the record. And is it me, or is it just a little weird that after that brawl ensued, they had to, I want to say it was 4 seconds on the clock? I mean, was it really necessary to run just down the ball one more time? I mean...
Yeah. If the clock stops, you have to get it done. That's just true. And by the way, notice how they brought the backup quarterback out for the last kneel down, and that was smart, by the way, from Freddie Kitchens, because you know how NFL players are. You're going to do that to my quarterback, I don't care if you're going to take a knee. If that's Baker Mayfield out there, he's getting it. So that was a smart call from Freddie Kitchens there. And by the way, I like the way that Kitchens and Baker Mayfield handled the situation at the end. A lot of people have criticized, especially Mayfield for calling out Myles Garrett on what he just did, and saying that's not how you should behave as a teammate. But listen, if my teammate, I don't care who it is, if my teammate,
and not often.
If my teammate does that sort of thing, I'm going to call him out no matter what.
Yeah. It's not often that Baker Mayfield does the right thing, but he did the right thing there. And have you guys heard that, or did you see it? So Mason threw the interception, and then Horsecollar tackled the defender when he was running back with the ball, and supposedly that's what set this whole thing off.
In that game, though, I haven't.
No, me neither.
Yeah, I didn't know because I had already fallen asleep by the end of the game.
There's nothing that Mason Rudolph could have done to justify this action by Myles Garrett. Listen, you're getting paid millions and millions and millions to play the game at the highest level, which is a privilege in itself, and part of that deal is to be able to keep yourself in check to a point where you're not gonna attempt to kill somebody on national live television. And Myles Garrett has shown that he's not able to do that. He's gained his reputation as a dirty player. Remember, he's the guy who broke Trevor Simeon's leg on that late hit against the Jets. He's the guy who punched Delaney Walker this season. That's 2 fines already. I think he's been flagged 5 times for unnecessary roughness, roughing the passer, or late hits this season already. He's building a reputation at this sort of thing, and something like this can never happen again. So in my opinion, he should not see another snap in the league. I think the Cleveland Browns should have caught him on the spot. They did not, which, by the way, I can't support that organization anymore either.
Right.
Because the type of lack of discipline that they've been showing all season, not only with these sorts of things, but they're the most penalized team in the league. And you get guys like Ogunjobi just pushing Rudolph to the ground, who just might have sustained a concussion. That's bush league stuff.
Right.
You just don't do that sort of thing. So he's definitely justified to be suspended for a game. So I can't stand for this type of organization, for the way that the organization handled this situation, and I'm curious to see how the NFL is going to end up handling it in the long run going into next season.
100%. Before we get off of that, this game here, if you're a fantasy football player and you actually have Beckham in your roster, you have to be a little frustrated because, you know, he had a touchdown that was wiped away, you know, after they did the replay. Yeah. So that was a little upsetting.
Yeah. You generally have to be frustrated with him because the offense has been running so badly the entire season. So you'd expect more out of most of these guys, I think.
Right.
Baker's been going to Landry a little more often than a Beckham lately. So maybe you can blame double teams or whatever.
Yeah, maybe you can just, I don't know. The Browns have underachieved as an entirety, as a situation.
By
there.
far.
All right.
Absolutely. So we'll have to keep an eye on how this situation turns out. For now, Garrett is out for the rest of the season. That's the absolute minimum in my opinion. And a lot of people seem to agree with that notion. Let's go into predictions, though. That's why we're here. And like you mentioned, we're still pretty close in the prediction game. Of course, this week, Hollywood, you can also predict along with us and see if you can be the honorary expert defeater in this one. Yeah, probably. I mean, JJ has gotten some picks on us. He picked the World Series. He picked it good. Yeah, picked it spot on.
Yeah.
Nats and 7.
Yeah.
Who would have thought? He had that right. So let's get into these games. So starting off with the Colts and Texans.
The Colts and the Texans, man. I don't know what to make of this. The Colts actually looked really good this past week, and the Texans looked really bad. This is the opposite of what you would expect from these two guys. This is going to be in Houston, which does kind of give a little bit of the favor, man. I think Deshaun Watson probably gets back going in this game. I don't know if you know this, but he's a really good quarterback.
Oh, is he? Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard it from several independent sources. Yeah, been told.
Yeah, he's a little above decent. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah, he's kind of in that second tier.
Well, some would say the first tier, but
that second tier, that elite tier, I think is that's where he belongs.
Definitely elite, for sure.
Yeah, which is the second, second tier.
A guy that wishes he was elite is Jacoby Brissett, who is turned out to be a fairly decent game manager, and Marlon Mack is out for this game,
right? With a broken hand.
Yes, and that's bad, man. Marlon Mack was on a tear this season, and I feel bad for him, but hopefully he'll be back before the end of the season. We don't know for sure, but he's definitely out for the next 2 or 3 games. All in all, I'm going to give it to Deshaun and D-Hop to take this one at home.
Right.
All right. So they had a bad showing. Actually, Hollywood, you go ahead first. I'm gonna go.
Yeah. I'd have to agree with Smokey. I think Deshaun, he's gonna pull out the W. The Texans, they're not looking bad at all, and with Jacoby Brissett, he's coming back to the Colts. But then again, losing Marlon Mack with that broken hand, I don't know. It's going to be an interesting game, but because they are playing in Houston, and Houston also being one of the better rushing teams, it's my opinion. I'm gonna have to go with the Texans, and if I have to give a score, I'd say the Texans are going to take it 27-21.
This is,
and I will say before you, Alex, Deshaun. What you just said, Deshaun has played really well, except against the best team in the league.
1 week. The best team in the league?
The Ravens.
They played the Niners anytime recently? I didn't know that.
Oh, trust me, they will crush the Niners if they play.
Okay, they'll play. They'll play in a couple of weeks. They'll play.
Oh yeah, that's right.
They will play. Yes. They might.
Oh, that should be. I hope that's prime time.
They might. That's gonna be a crazy. That might be a Super Bowl preview, but that's gonna be crazy.
Yes.
Hey, you guys.
I'm gonna agree with both of you here, but this is a very important game, by the way, because this is heavy playoff implications, and the Texans are not where they wanted to be after like 5-6 weeks. They look like one of the absolute top teams. And they're coming off of the worst game of the season by far for them being completely crushed by the Ravens, which we did not expect that. We thought it was going to be a close game, thought it was going to be a shootout. It was nowhere near that. And how is Deshaun Watson's role right now looking? The MVP conversation, I don't think his chances are as good anymore as we thought they were a while ago. But this is going to be an important game. I do, however, also believe in the Texans. Again, without J.J. Watt, he's out for the season, torn pec. I think that offense is explosive enough to beat the Colts team, which, by the way, our bet is on again because the Colts seem to be one of the best teams in the league. They were at one point the 2 seed in the AFC, and we had the over-under at 8 for them, and that is still on, and we'll see how that continues. Yes. But I'm going to also pick the Texans here, so we all agree on that one. How about the Giants and the Bears?
Giants and Bears. Oh, my God. This is a tank bowl that's not supposed to be tanking. I hope Matt Nagy keeps Trubisky out of this game, which I'm hearing he should. And Trubisky, they're saying he's got an injury, but I think his injury was he crapped the bed so much that Nagy's like, oh my God, Chase Daniels has to be better than this.
Yeah.
On the other side, Giants have really they've looked really good on offense, not good on defense at all. Danny Dimes is probably going to throw a lot, but it is against the Bears defense. So how many interceptions is that going to lead to? I'm guessing 4 or 5.
Oh boy!
And
is that a bet?
Yeah.
Is that a bet?
No, I'm not gonna bet it because every time I bet on interceptions, like the exact opposite happens. But I will say this: I'm gonna pick the Bears because they're at home.
They call him Danny Dimes for a reason, you know. If he were known for throwing picks, they call him Danny Duckies, and he doesn't do it. He throws dimes. That's why they call him Danny Dimes. Give me the Giants. Give me Giants this game, man. They got nothing to lose.
The Giants.
I take the Giants. Man, Bears are a classic underachieving team. So
for sure.
I'll take the Giants here. There's more disarray in the Bears organization than anyone would want to believe. And I don't know the quarterback situation. Where are they going? I have no idea. I'm gonna trade for Cam Newton. I'm gonna try to draft someone. Phillip Rivers is gonna be available. Tom Brady's gonna be available. So maybe you're gonna go with one of those.
You think Phillips gonna be available?
Hey, he's an unrestricted free agent after this season. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
he might be let go if he keeps playing like he did against the Chiefs. He might be let go.
Yeah, that's true.
So we'll
it was
see.
horrible.
You got some names available. I'll take the Giants in this game, and it seems like actually we have lost connection to Hollywood here. Hopefully, we'll see if he comes back. You're back, Hollywood. He's just back.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that, guys. Technical difficulties.
Yeah, that's cool. I just mentioned it. We didn't have a problem here, so we just got done talking about the Giants and Bears, but we still need your pick.
All right. Giants and the Bears. Well, sorry. Just let me get my. All right. They're playing in Chicago.
Yes.
Now, let's see. I guess with the Bears as coach, Matt Nagy's, I guess his job would be to, they have to win this particular game in New York, and it's entirely possible against New York, and it's entirely possible,
Yeah. It's a must-win situation.
Yeah, especially with them losing their last 6 games in a row, and if I'm not mistaken, they're coming off of a bye week.
The Bears? Are they coming off a bye? I don't think they're coming off a bye.
No, the Bears played last week.
The Bears played.
No,
that's true.
the Giants. The Giants are coming off of a bye.
Oh, the Giants.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
yes,
that's
are.
correct, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so on the other side, the Bears still, they still have a top 5 scoring defense, which is still great. But that unit's going to cause Daniel Jones and company enough trouble, and Nagy's offense will probably manage just enough to pull it off. But I think I'm going to have to go with the Bears on this one, guys.
All right. That's what Smokey said also, basically. He said they're just going to hang on. I'll pick the Giants. I was stirring up a bit of controversy. I went with the Giants because Danny Dimes, I can trust him to make this happen, and the quarterback controversy for the Bears is going to consume that team sooner or later. How about the Dolphins and Browns?
Oh, I'm excited about
everyone's
this one.
favorite game.
I'm excited about this one. You want to go first, Smokey?
Yeah, man, not much more I can say. I mean, unless that controversy really hurt them, the Browns should walk away with this one in Cleveland. I mean, the Dolphins looked like they wanted to win for a little while and then crap the bed again.
Exactly.
So, I think Baker Mayfield, maybe they're even better without Myles Garrett. That's a possibility. Also, we've seen teams have addition through subtraction.
Right.
No one's better without their best player.
Well, with Kareem Hunt,
Yeah,
Kareem Hunt's not bad, man.
Well, yeah, but
Myles
Garrett.
That running attack is great.
It is.
But and they're going to run all over the Dolphins here, and I can see Landry and Odell heating it up a little bit in this game. I don't know why we're even trying to defend that it's possible for the Dolphins to win this game.
Because it is.
They're the second worst. They're the second worst scoring defense in the league.
Yeah,
Oh,
they've won 2 games that we didn't think were possible. They would win, and they won them.
I think it was just the save face for Miami. I think they're still tanking. I think that they went over to Fitzpatrick like, okay, just go ahead and win a couple because the natives are getting rested.
Yeah.
So, we will resume tanking at this point.
Yeah. Well, no one
Browns
knows.
Are gonna take this.
No one knows what they're tanking for at this point anymore because the quarterback standing not so clear anymore after Tua injury.
They want Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow, you're no longer tank for Tua.
Yeah.
You're out on him because of a dislocated hip.
Well, dude, that's one in a long list of injuries.
It is.
Hopefully, we'll get to some college talk before the end of the.
Oh yeah, we'll try to do that. So I'm going to also pick the Browns. Set everything aside I said before, just because I don't like him anymore. I never really loved him, but just because I don't like him right now, the way the organization is run, the player base, I think they're all undisciplined, and they earned the name Cleveland Clowns. But,
for sure.
That's funny.
The Dolphins have also earned the name Lolfins this year, even more so than that. I think the Browns will take it. Their talent is much, much better. And listen, Myles Garrett not being there is going to cost them. His actions have sealed the Browns' playoff hopes, which, if they were there at all, completely. So I'll take the Browns also. So Hollywood, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you guys as well. You know, their running game is definitely enhanced. I don't care what y'all say about Kareem Hunt. He still looks great. And
He's
with
great.
Baker Mayfield, I mean, even though most teams are playing double coverage against Beckham, you know, you still got Jarvis Landry over there. So, and again, they're going against the Dolphins. So I would be remorse to not pick the Browns. So yeah, I'm gonna take the Browns on this one.
Yeah. All right, understandable. How about this AFC North rivalry and another good candidate for some extracurricular off the field? Steelers and Bengals.
Ooh, may I go first on this one?
Sure.
Go ahead. You like the Steelers. That's one of the teams.
With the Steelers being my second team, guys, for all the Beyond Football fans out there, Atlanta's definitely my first team. Not too proud of it right now, but Steelers is my second team. And, you know, this being a divisional matchup against a feisty Bengals right now. I mean, good news, though, for Pittsburgh. You know, Mike Tomlin, I'm sure he's going to make sure that his team is more focused than ever, especially with the incident that they had. But, you know, the Bengals, they looked pretty decent against the Raiders. But not being biased here, I'm going to have, even though they're in Cincinnati, this divisional game, I'm going to have to take the Steelers, guys.
Well, that's definitely weird to say the Bengals look good against anybody.
They did, though.
That was the Raiders. Yeah,
and the Raiders aren't a bad team, man.
No, the Raiders are. The Raiders are 6-4 right now, and nobody would have made a bet at the beginning. Yeah, at the beginning of the season, nobody would have made a bet that they could get to 6 wins during the whole season. But let's get back to this game.
Well, before you say that, the Falcons are 1-86 right now, and who would have expected them to beat New Orleans?
Well, no.
3-7.
That's true.
Yes.
I'm being facetious, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, but maybe the Bengals have a shot if that offense plays like it did against the Browns. Like maybe they do have a shot. But I think they want Joe Burrow or maybe still Tua or whoever more than any other team, apparently. I want to talk about Tua so much, but we'll wait. We'll wait. I'm going to take the Steelers on the road because this is the only team that's worse than the Dolphins.
Wow.
Yeah, give me the 5-5 Steelers also. Bengals haven't won a game this year. They played their best game against the Raiders, and they might as well have won it with Ryan Finley. But I don't think they will. I won't pick them before they do, so Steelers for me also. How about Broncos and Bills?
Broncos and Bills. Well, the Broncos looked like they had that game, and then they really crapped the bed. Jesus, man, I don't know. Maybe they want Maybe they don't want Drew Lock, and they're going to tank for 2
Nah. Man, Drew Lock, I'm telling you, man, we haven't seen him. I'm telling you, man, Drew Lock is going to be good.
I think Drew Lock could be great, too.
He's
But I don't know
really
why
good.
they're not. Why are they not playing him?
I don't know. He's going to be good.
He's healthy, according to doctors. But
Maybe they're giving the
Fangio.
season. Maybe they're resigning the season. Maybe it's like, I'll let him learn. That's what they did with Patrick Mahomes, Alex Smith. He came in year 2, won the MVP. Maybe that's the smartest way to do it.
Yeah, maybe they're tanking for Chase Daniels then.
Maybe,
They want a good defensive end over
You
there.
mean Chase
from
Young?
Ohio State. Oh, what did I say? Oh,
Chase Daniel.
No, Chase. You know me and names; they don't work.
He's
out well.
dyslexic.
Exactly. Chase Young is who they want.
They
And
might.
That's now that I think about it, that's probably a likely scenario. But either way,
they got
Josh
so many
Allen,
edge rushers already. Jesus.
yeah, but you can always move him to the interior if you want to, too, because
Yeah.
that kid is a generational talent.
You can move Bradley
But
Chubb
anyway.
inside too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure. But anyway, Bills. Josh Allen looked amazing, which he does from time to time, and there's no way they're not going to win this one at home.
I'll take the playoff Bills. Hollywood, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with Smokey. You know, Josh Allen looking the way he is now, I think they're going to pull it off. But statistically, the Bills have a 7-3 record, and Denver has a 3-7 record. But statistically, I mean, these guys are literally mirror images of each other. I mean, the Bills, they're really close. The Bills have an offense of 358.9 yards per game and a great defense, while the Broncos has a 342.4 yards per game. So they're really, on paper, they look almost identical. But at this point, you know, even though they're playing what am I talking about? The Broncos, they're 3-7. They're not looking too well. So I'm going to have to take Josh Allen and the Bills, definitely.
Yeah, I'll also take that, though. I like the point. They are closer than the record would indicate. Broncos have been on the losing end of a lot of these close games. They were about to beat Minnesota, and they bungled it away. And the Bills obviously might be their record might be a bit better than they are, even though that defense is ferocious, and I definitely like it too. I like the Bills, so I appreciate them being good this year. And I'm also going to take Buffalo, by the way, to move on. And I'm looking forward to Buffalo and New England, actually. It seems now that this is actually going to be a closer game than a lot of people might anticipate. But let's get into let's go to your division.
For the record, even though my second team being the Steelers, I don't know if you've pointed this out, but everybody out there, Smokey's second team is who?
The Bills.
So there might be a little bias there.
I love
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the Bills, man.
All right, let's go. Let's get to your division here. We got the championship of the most recent Atlanta Falcons victims with the Panthers at the Saints.
Wow.
So who do you guys have?
If I could, go ahead, Smokey. No, go ahead.
I was gonna. This is we got blown out by the Falcons.
Right. I was just about to say that.
This is amazing. I love it. Like nobody expected this, and this is. It makes me. I'm tickled. All right, I love it. Other than that, though, Kyle Allen looked horrible. He looked almost as horrible as Drew Brees did against the Falcons. So, but Drew Brees has recovered and rebounded and looked fairly decent. I mean, he didn't look like the Drew Brees of old, but he sustained a decent offense. And Michael Thomas is the new Julio.
Right.
And he is probably the best wide receiver in the league right now.
What? You're gonna put him over Julio?
I'd have a hard time doing it, but he's very, very good. By the way, he
is.
I shouldn't judge people by that, but Michael Thomas is an idiot. You should look at his tweets about the Myles Garrett situation, but that's besides the point. He's delusional, but he's a very good receiver, and we got to give him that.
I didn't see it. Was he defending?
Oh yeah, he was talking about Garrett was acting in self-defense and stuff. It was crazy.
Yeah, man, I wanted to like him so much.
No.
But either way, I'm going with the Saints at home. This should be no problem for the Saints.
Yeah.
Hollywood.
All right. Just to point out a few things, I have to say that this literally feels like the very last chance for the Panthers to stay alive in the NFC playoff picture. I really want to say that because both of these guys are coming off of a terrible loss from the home team, Atlanta Falcons. But the problem for the Panthers, in my point of view, in this particular matchup, it's not Kyle Allen, against everybody knows the Superdome for being one of the noisiest places to play. It's not that problem, and it's not even the Saints defense. If you ask me, it's the struggling run defense versus Alvin Kamara and Murray. I mean, in the meanwhile, New Orleans, their defense, they're quick enough to contain Christian McCaffrey. As much as I don't want to say this, the Saints are going to upset the Panthers.
I wouldn't even call it an upset, but I agree that with you in two things. First of all, this is the Panthers' last chance to make a serious push, and secondly, they're not going to do it because the Saints are going to win the game on basically the exact same foundation that you mentioned. They're not going to be able to stop the run game, and when they don't stop the run game, the Niners showed this earlier this year, then the Panthers fall apart, and they're not going to catch up because that's not what they were built to do. So, I also have the Saints in this one. And looking into the next one here, you got your Falcons, who are hosting the Buccaneers. Both teams are 3-7. And what do you think? Are the Falcons gonna completely sweep that division 3 weeks back to back to back?
May I go first, Smokey, please?
Sure.
Go ahead.
All right. First of all, there's a few coaching changes here that you brought up earlier in the podcast. No one suspected the Falcons to blow out two of their divisional opponents. No one expected that, and we have to give kudos to Dan Quinn. For responding to adversary and basically fighting to save his job. They're playing against the Bucs. The Bucs, they're not looking the best. They're not the best team, but hands down, I'm going to have to go with the Falcons. Before we go get into your Smokey, just curious, I just want to throw something out there. Apparently there's this big thing, and because we live in Atlanta, there's this thing that a lot of Atlanta celebrities are saying, a lot of rappers and actors from Atlanta. A lot of people are saying drop Matt Ryan, bring Kaepernick in.
Oh boy.
But I think that's crazy because Matt Ryan is doing great.
Yeah,
Matt Ryan is 10 times the quarterback Kaepernick.
That is crazy.
Matt Ryan is not mobile like Kaepernick, but we don't know that Kaepernick's still mobile. Hell, he hasn't played a game in 3 seasons.
Yeah, he ain't played a game in 46 years. Jesus.
Yeah.
Remember, they tried to teach him to pass from the pocket, and he couldn't do it. He became the worst quarterback in the NFL, the worst starting quarterback in the NFL, because he was trying to be a pocket passer.
I can second this as a Niners fan. When he got out of the NFL, he got out of the NFL because he was not good enough to start it anymore.
Right. So yeah,
that just sounds like more of a political.
Yeah, that's no.
Yeah, just being a native Atlantean, I'm gonna pick the Falcons, but
gotta bring it up.
Yeah, go ahead, Smokey. What you got?
Yeah. Oh man, well, the Bucs have an outstanding run defense. Like, they are literally, they're the only team so far that has contained Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
And even though he did get a couple touchdowns in that game, but he was one of his worst games of all. Actually, I think it was one touchdown, but his worst game this season was against the Bucs, and they've held pretty much every team they played to little to no rushing yards.
Yeah, they're the worst scoring defense, if I'm not mistaken, right?
The Bucs are the worst scoring defense.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, that could be. But either way, they have a horrible defense against the pass. So that's where the Falcons have been getting it done, is through the pass. And Julio and Calvin Ridley will light them up. I expect Jameis throw a couple interceptions, and this is not a joke this time. I'm not being facetious when I say he probably will throw 4 interceptions in this game.
Is that a bet?
Unlike earlier.
Is it a bet?
Well,
give me a number.
Over under a 3.
You take the over on 3?
Yeah, because the Falcons aren't really known for interceptions.
Right.
You know, we got
all right. You know what?
Trufant
You got
back
it.
there.
You got it. You want to put two monsters?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, I'll take the under. Under on 3. If they got exactly 3, we're tied. Nothing happens. I'll take the under on 3. I'm gonna remind me later. I'm gonna write that down. That being said, though, I also will pick the Falcons because they're on a massive upsurge. And you are right though. Jameis just seems to just not be able to quit his side job at the bakery. Man, it's crazy. He's in his 5th year. He can't stop throwing picks.
Bacon turnovers.
Can't stop serving them up. So I'll take the Falcons here. They've been looking good the last 2 weeks, and I'm not going to doubt a team that's on the rise like this. Now, here's aside from the obvious Niners game, here's the game of the week for me, and where a lot of my sanity is going to depend on the outcome of this game.
Well, before you can,
and Smokey, you know why that is, but yeah.
Can I interrupt real quick, just on the Falcons Buccaneers game? With the way we're playing right now, Atlanta playing outstanding. Any possibility we make a wild card?
No.
0.
I will say
you have
it's
to
a
win
really
out.
long shot.
You have to win out, and 9
to.
wins is not going to clinch anything in the NFC. You got the listen. You have to have either the Seahawks or Niners, who will probably make the playoffs with like 3 losses, and then you'll probably have the Vikings. So definitely 2 teams from the West. They have no chance of catching them, and probably the second team from the North. I think the NFC is so stacked that 9 wins is no chance.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very hard. I will say this: it's improbable, but not impossible.
All right.
For the Falcons, to me it's impossible, but we shall see. But this one though, this is gonna be a lot of my sanity will depend on this game. Smokey, you will know why. We have the Raiders at the Jets.
Oh man, this should be a barn burner. I like this, man. The Raiders and the Jets. This is one of the games I'm looking forward to because every week I see I say, we're gonna find out what the Raiders are for real this time, and they keep winning. And the Jets, they're still. What do they got? 3 wins so far.
Oh yeah, 3 and 7.
They're trying to
including
put it
one against the Cowboys.
Exactly. That's the thing, man. They're so schizophrenic. They'll look horrible for 4 games and then have this world beater domination of a game, and then go back to being horrible again. With that being said, I think we got to go with momentum, even though the Jets just won. This upcoming is going to be one of their 4 losses. So, I got to go with the Raiders on the road.
Interesting.
All right, Hollywood.
All right, so yes, we all have to agree. The Jets' offense, they have definitely come alive over the past 2 weeks. Even though they did play against struggling defenses, against the Giants and the Redskins, but the Raiders' defense isn't exactly the best. Oakland, they are on what? Is it 3 consecutive wins? Am I not mistaken? 3
or 4. Yeah.
Okay. But then again, all of these were within a 1-score game, and all of those are at home. But them being back on the road and playing Eastern Standard Time, I don't think the Raiders are gonna be as fortunate. I think Sam Darnold is gonna continue on, man. I take the Jets.
I appreciate that so much, Hollywood, because you don't know the struggle. You don't know the struggle of knowing that the Jets in every single parallel universe, except for this current one, should beat the Raiders every single time. That the Raiders should be a dumpster fire, somehow they're not. The Jets should be very, very good, somehow they're not. I have no idea what to make of this. If I pick the Jets here, right, and they lose, I'm done, right? I can check into it and say this out next week. I'm done. If I pick the Raiders and they lose, or the Raiders win. If I pick the Raiders and they lose, I kind of betrayed my own standards, right? It's like going back in time and shooting my past self in the face. Because I've been saying it all along. The Raiders are a facade and the Jets are really good. So I have no way of winning this. Listen, Sam Darnold's very good. We showed that last week. He should win this game. I can't explain why the Raiders are good. I'll pick a tie in overtime. There we go.
Right.
I pick a tie.
A tie.
I'll do it once per season. I've done it last year one time. I'm gonna pick a tie.
Interesting.
There we go.
Dude, if you hit that though, that's amazing.
Yeah, I know. that would be insane. But yeah.
So hold on, but do you get a half point? No matter.
No. I get 1 point if it's a tie. If it's a bad pick, odd-wise, but because I can't bring myself to do either. If it's the decisive game, I get 0 points.
That might be in your favor, Smokey.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
But that's all I have to say to this because I can't bear it, man. I can't bear the mental load of it. It's not possible. How about the Seahawks and Eagles?
Oh, this is gonna be a good one.
Yeah, it should be. It really should be. But the Eagles, Carson Wentz, man, that you're talking about Sam Darnold. Carson Wentz should be an MVP caliber quarterback.
I agree.
They can't get it together, and it's frustrating to watch them play. I don't know. I don't know if it's Doug Peterson or just the lack of receiving talent or what's going on. I mean, we've never known the Eagles to have a good run game. They love to divvy it up and put together these committee of mediocre running backs and hope that they pull something out. I don't know. Miles Sanders, maybe. He's going to come around eventually, but yeah, I don't know what to make of it. Seahawks are on a tear. They're doing good. This is in Philadelphia. I'm probably dumb for picking this, but I'm going to pick the Eagles.
Oh, wow. Interesting. All right, well, on my case, we all have to, first of all, we have to acknowledge the fact that Philadelphia still has a top 10 defense. Can we acknowledge that?
That's true.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
So, the Seahawks, I mean, they're healthy and they're just coming off of a bye. So, I mean, they're fairly rested. The Eagles, they're not really the healthiest and they're not coming off a bye, but we all can agree that, Russell Wilson is definitely a candidate for MVP. I mean, and this team is a very strong candidate for possibly going to the Super Bowl. The Eagles opened as 2-point home favorites, so I don't know, man. This being in Philadelphia, but it's so hard to pick against the Seahawks right now. I'm gonna take the Seahawks on this, man.
See, I'm also going to take the Seahawks. Going to take it right off the bat because the Eagles are too inconsistent. And like you mentioned, what's the problem? I don't know. It's a conundrum. We know it's not Carson Wentz because we know that Carson Wentz is an MVP caliber quarterback. We know it's not Doug Peterson because he was there when they won the Super Bowl even without Carson Wentz. And we know it's not the defense because same reason, right? So what is it? I have no idea. It should work. For all this purpose, the Eagles should be top 5 team. They have not been. As a matter of fact, they are struggling to beat out the Cowboys for the division title, which is right now all up in the air, even which should never have been a question.
Right.
Carson Wentz is playing worse than Dak Prescott this year, which is unprecedented. That's something I never thought I would say, but this year it's absolutely the case. A lot of things this year I can't explain. I'll pick the Seahawks. They're coming off a bye, they're rested, and before that bye, they're coming off of a massive win. And that massive win, I mean, it's got to motivate you because you're gonna play the Niners again. As a matter of fact, Week 17 they'll play the Niners, and with that win last week, they are now in reach. And they have a chance. If they beat San Francisco again, they're in prime position for the 1 seed in the NFC themselves. So Seahawks.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah?
Did I hear you correctly when you said Carson Wentz is MVP worthy?
He is an MVP caliber player. Not this year, obviously. He's not playing like an all.
Okay, I was about to say.
He is that type of player because he was in the conversation when the year that the Eagles won the Super Bowl before he got hurt.
Right.
Actually, was a front runner that year. So, pick the Seahawks here. Nothing more I can say about that. The Eagles are too inconsistent. I hope they still beat the Cowboys. I think they're better than the Cowboys, but they have to show up. And until then, I can't rely on them. How about this Tank Bowl, Lions and Redskins?
Oh, yeah, man. That's bad, too. This shouldn't be a Tank Bowl, but it is. I mean, of course, we knew it would be for the Redskins, but the Lions looked so good.
It seems like they had those 3 wins like after week 4 or something, right?
Yeah.
And now they're still sitting there.
And every game they lost was really close and games that they should have won.
Right.
But Jeff Driscoll, man. What can you say about Jeff Driscoll? It's not Matt Stafford.
No.
He's not good. I mean, Jesus Christ.
He's Go ahead, sorry.
Well, the run game sucks because their star running back is out and they don't know what to do behind him. Maybe Bo Scarborough will put something together in this game.
Yeah. I liked him in college. He was pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course, you like everybody.
That's a lie. Name the last Alabama quarterback that did anything in the NFL.
That what? You cut out there.
Name the last Alabama quarterback that did anything in the NFL.
Josh Jacobs.
Quarterback.
Oh, quarterback.
He got
Kenny the Snake Stabler.
I don't even know. I think Jake Coker is the last guy I remember being drafted. I don't even know. But
Joe Namath.
Oh,
maybe.
AJ McCarron was.
Drafted. AJ McCarron actually, yeah. So long time. But Tua's gonna change all that. But yeah.
The last quarterback that actually did anything in the NFL would have been Kenny Stabler for the Oakland Raiders back during
long time
the monster days of the Oakland Raiders. Yeah, but anyway, that might have been the LA Raiders at that time. Yeah. Anyway, what were we talking about? The Lions and the Skins.
Who's your pick? Who you got?
Got to go with the Lions. I mean, the Skins don't want to win anything.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, what else can you do? It's going to be a horrible tank bowl, but I'm picking the Lions to win it.
All right, first of all, Matt Stafford, he's out for a while, isn't he?
He's out, I think 6 weeks projected. Yeah. So that's basically the season.
That's. I mean, if you ask me, this is relatively simple. I mean, the Lions are bad, and the Redskins are even worse. So, I mean, this is just going to be like a as you guys put it, a tank bowl? Is that what you guys are calling it?
Tank bowl.
All right.
Yes.
Well, with Matt Stafford not being there, I mean, I don't think it's really going to make a difference. Even though Detroit, their defense is absolutely terrible, and I want to say Washington has the league's worst scoring offense, if I'm not mistaken. But
yeah, that's possible.
In this, man, even with Matt Stafford being out, but the Redskins looking absolutely horrific, I'm gonna take the Lions.
I will also take the Lions. Redskins might be the worst team in the league, honestly. And Dwayne Haskins is exactly what I thought he would be, which is everything but ready. I'm not saying he's bad; he's just not ready at all. That's what I said before the draft, after the draft, and I'm still saying it right now. I'll take the Lions. Even with Jeff Driscoll, though, this is a game that I do not wish to watch or analyze or ever talk about again because this might be the worst game of the season. Moving on to the Jaguars and the Titans.
Jags and Titans, man. I was so excited to see Nick Foles back, and then he crapped a bit.
Yes, he did.
He set his helmet down on the 50-yard line and just took a big dump right in front of
in his helmet.
Yeah.
Yes, in his helmet. Oh God, man, I thought he was going to be great. Bring back Gardner Minshew, by the way.
I said it a week earlier. For the record, I said this a week earlier than you.
Yeah. And I shouldn't have defended Foles, I guess. I don't know. Maybe Foles was something
he's played one game.
But he's Case Keenum. That's all Foles is.
Right.
But Ryan Tannehill looking great, coming off a bye. He should keep up the good work at home here. If they don't bring back Gardner Minshew, I'm picking the Titans at home.
Right.
By the way, the Gardner Minshew line. That's something I came up with. I think that's a very good. That's a very good orientation there.
Oh yeah.
For this season, it seems to make sense. If you're a good Hollywood, I don't know if you're familiar with the principle of the Andy Dalton line, but basically, is the Andy Dalton line used to be sort of the threshold for a quarterback, whether you're good or not. So if you're better than Andy Dalton, you're a good quarterback. If you're worse, you're a bad quarterback. That's what it used to be.
I would call that the Tony Romo effect. I mean, if you're better than Tony Romo, you're a good quarterback. If you're worse, then
that was also a good comparison at that point. But now that Andy Dalton is so bad that it doesn't work anymore, we need to find another average quarterback. And I think Gardner Minshew is a pretty good fit for that.
Right. Well, just to piggyback here off of Smokey, Tannehill's not looking bad at all, but I think we all have to agree that this definitely is the AFC South toss-up game of the week. I mean, neither one of these guys are looking too good. Yes, you're right, Nick Foles is back, but I think we have to give him a little bit of time to get back into the swing of things. I don't know, man. We have to agree the Titans are probably one of the most frustrating teams to watch at this point. So even though the Titans are at home, I'm gonna take Jacksonville on this one, man.
All right, that's a bold pick, man. I don't want to be the Jaguars, man, because you're gonna have a bad quarterback controversy on your hands come off season if Nick Foles doesn't start balling out pretty soon, because you'll have two guys there and you're gonna have to make a decision. No, I don't envy that being in that position at all. I'll pick the Titans because I did not like what I saw from Jacksonville last week. They lost really, really badly, and I didn't like what I saw from Nick Foles. Now, granted, I'm going to defend him here. It's his first game back after a long injury. It happens. That's part of why I think they should have started Minshew for the rest of the way, or at least until they can't justify him starting anymore, because he's been playing well enough, like I said, average, something that you would expect from a late round rookie. So yeah, I'll take the Titans. Give me Tennessee here, and if, like you said, Nick Foles takes a while to get into the swing, but that might be too late for any sort of playoff hopes. Or
I agree. There.
So that's gonna be that. But we're gonna end it off here with three of the biggest barn burners we've seen all season. These games are gonna be great. First of all, the Cowboys and Patriots.
Oh wow. I think that's
Cowboys.
I think this is going to be a good game. I mean, we can. Is this fair to say that America's most popular team is probably the Cowboys? Is that fair to say?
Most popular, I would think so. Yeah, probably because
throughout history, I would say, yeah.
Right, but I don't know what my stepdad's calling me, but even though them being America's most popular team, they're going against the New England Patriots, which their defense right now is absolutely stellar. I mean, it's incredible how these guys are looking on the opposite side of the ball. I mean, the Cowboys really don't have a singular offensive strength for the Pats to take away. But guys, hate me for saying it, man. Even though they're in New England, the Cowboys, I feel like they might upset them. I really feel that way. Wow. Yeah, I'm gonna take the Cowboys on this one.
Wow. All right.
Yeah, I'll say.
By the way, I hate the Patriots. Just want to throw that out there.
I hate the Patriots. I hate the Patriots almost as much as the Saints. But I will say this: being an analyst right now and not a fan, I would love to see the Cowboys win this game, and I think it's very possible. I think it's very possible to get one over on the Pats. But not as likely as the Pats pulling one out at home because of that defense. Look for a lot of screen passes to Edelman over the middle, and that's about it. Zeke is probably going to have a decent game, him and Tony Pollard, because if there's one thing you can do to the Patriots is run it down their throat. And I don't see a lot of passing going on here, not a lot of Amari Cooper and Michael Gallup in this game. So I'm going with the Pats to take this one at home.
Yeah, let me just say I love the Patriots. I never mentioned how much I love the Patriots. Every week that they play the Cowboys, can't get enough of Bill Belichick, my favorite. Love. I dislike the Patriots, but nowhere near as much as I do the Cowboys, and I will never root for the Cowboys. I go Patriots this week, absolutely. But to your point, a lot of teams over the last couple of weeks have done a really good job of defending the Cowboys the way that they are supposed to, which is by taking out Ezekiel Elliott and essentially neutralizing him from the game plan.
Right.
We see in the last couple of weeks he might have had his two worst games of his career back to back just now in the Patriots, because Bill Belichick knows his stuff, right? He knows how to defend this Cowboys team, and that's by taking away Zeke. A lot of 8 men in the box. We're going to see him force Dak Prescott to throw it, and once Dak Prescott is forced to throw it, he's gonna really have to step up. He's been playing well this year. He's gonna have to play his best game of the season to throw against this kind of secondary of the Patriots. So it's gonna be a monstrous task. Hollywood, listen, it might happen. Don't get me wrong, it might happen because the Patriots offense is really bad, and the Cowboys defense is not great, but probably okay. It's probably going to end up being a low-scoring game.
You think? I think it'll be a high-scoring game.
No, it'll be a low-scoring game.
I think it'll be a low-scoring game.
Because both defenses are going to be better than both offenses. So it's going to be a pretty low-scoring game. But it's going to be an intense game, so I'm definitely looking forward to it. Statement game for Dak Prescott, yeah.
Unless there's quite a few defensive
That's what I'm
scores
thinking. Defense is just going to take
Right.
over.
I don't think that's going to happen too much either, because I think Tom Brady's smart enough to not turn it over in bad situations too much, and Dak Prescott also should be able to handle that. Even though I wouldn't be surprised if the Patriots got another pick six in. But yeah, I'll take the Pats here. That's not favoritism, even though of course it is. But still looking at it objectively. I think they're going to be a better team because that defense is edging it out, and they're going to make it happen. So. Let's jump into late night game. We got the Packers at the 49ers.
Can I go first, please?
Shit.
Yep.
All right. We all know that Alex here is a huge 49ers fan, and we can't take anything away from them. They are looking phenomenal. This one's a big one, though, for the NFC playoff picture. Green Bay, they're coming off of a bye, correct? Am I right about that?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Yes. So with Aaron Rodgers and company coming off of this bye, they're extremely healthy. We have to give it to the Packers. I mean, they look just as good, if not better. Statistically, I guess I would say. Look for Garoppolo. I mean, I have to kind of have some favoritism because in my fantasy league, I definitely have Garoppolo as my quarterback. And he put up some great numbers last week.
Yeah.
But I just to go against, I think it's going to be a close game, man. If I might actually pick this to be a draw, but I'm not. Just to be on the hater side of the ball, I'm going to take the Packers, man. They're coming off of a bye week, and Aaron Rodgers is ready to solidify himself as, hey, we had a week off, and you know what? We're going to show you what we do. So I take the Packers.
You know what? I think this probably does have the biggest chance of being a tie out of this whole slate.
I agree.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think so. You have to be conflicted, Alex, because you love the 49ers and you really believe in them this year, but you also know you never bet against Aaron Rodgers. So
I'll get to that one.
With that being said, middle of the road defense versus a great defense. Middle of the road offense versus a great offense. What are we going for? Middle of the road quarterback versus
great quarterback. Right.
Oh,
Super Bowl quarterback.
Hold on now.
Versus a non
Wait a second. All right, what do I just hear? What is here to implying? The middle of the road, huh? Is Jimmy Garoppolo right now a top 10 quarterback? Yes or no?
Hands down.
I'd say top 12.
I'd say top 5.
I'd have to look. I'd have to go.
Top 10 right now.
No, I don't know. I'd have to look at the whole slate and go through them and analyze that.
All right. We'll do it after the season. After the full regular season, we'll do quarterback rankings. How about that?
Yeah. Because I think he's a good game manager. Like he's holding up. He's Tom Brady light. You know, I mean, he's doing well.
He's playing better than Brady at the moment. He's not only been a game manager. Like both the games against Arizona, he carried the entire team, and he would have carried him to a win against Seattle if he made that field goal.
Yeah.
So he set up game-winning drives in all three of those games.
Of course, he's
400 yards, 4 touchdowns.
I mean, of course, Garoppolo's playing better right now than Tom Brady. I mean, Tom Brady's 65 years old, so. But
most people are playing better than Brady. That's true.
Yeah, Brady's not great right now, but man, Packers, you know, they're great. I don't know really how they're going to play coming off the bye. 49ers are at home. just from what I've seen, I guess I'm going to go with the 49ers at home to keep up their win streak. But I wouldn't be surprised if this was a tie or if the Packers pulled it out, because this could definitely go either direction.
So who's your pick?
I don't know what I would have to think.
49ers.
Pick the Niners. I would not really know what to think if this ended up in a tie. I guess I would have to like it because they still have an extra win on the Packers, so it's technically good for the playoff, the 1 seed. And here's what this is going to come down to, right? And this game is going to be tied very heavily into how serious we have to take the Niners to go all the way this year. And this is going to be, that's been my concern for the year. And with the injury to Quan Alexander and a couple other veterans for this defense, but generally for the entire team, could it be that this team is still just a year too young to go all the way? And it might be, because it's still a very young team, very talented but very, very young team, and that has been my concern. It's gonna show in this game, because Aaron Rodgers is the biggest challenge you can face as an individual player in the NFL. That's just how it is. And if they can manage Aaron Rodgers like this by himself, they're playing at San Francisco, so that's a slight advantage, I would say. But if they can really manage to make this happen, I think they're made out of the right stuff. I think they actually have a chance to go all the way and make it happen. This is going to be the final test, and I don't really know. I have my doubts. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I really want to pick the Niners, of course, to go to the Super Bowl and everything.
Really?
I want to, but here's the thing. With that injury to Quan Alexander, which by the way is a much bigger injury than you would think, with Kittle and Sanders being banged up, and my God, can someone catch a football? Because so far, it's been terrible. Honestly. Down those two guys, and Deebo Samuel, who makes rookie mistakes, but he's been very promising. This is the worst receiving core in the NFL. I mean, the amount of drops and tipped interceptions has been unreal. It felt like we're back in the Brian Hoyer days, honestly. It felt terrible. Over the last couple of weeks, it's been awful to watch. So, we need guys to be healthy. This team might be just a year removed, which is unfortunate if it comes there, but it might go there. I'm going to pick with the Packers. I'm going to pick with my head here. I'm going to pick with my head over my heart, and I'm going to go back to what Smokey said. You don't pick against Aaron Rodgers. I can't do it. I want to. I can't do it until I see it for the first time. If that defense can handle him, and I believe they have the ability to, but it might not be this year. So I'll pick the Packers in this one, and this might be obviously this has a good chance of being a future playoff showdown come January, but I'll take the Packers for this one. And finally closed out. Oh, by the way, Smokey, one monster, as always.
Yeah,
I think easy pick. One monster on the Packers. Great.
Just being a newcomer here, what exactly is a monster? What are you guys referring to?
The Monster energy drink.
It's a bet.
The energy drink?
Yeah, a Monster energy drink. You know,
Smokey, you don't drink Monsters.
That's our currency for bets.
Yeah,
well, it doesn't have to be a Monster. It could be any energy drink.
Yeah, it could be.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the currency. That's
the lowest unit of currency. We deal in monsters and in pizzas.
Okay.
So I can show you the current betting sheet of the season so far after the podcast. Mm-hmm. Let's do the final game here Monday night: Ravens and Rams.
Oh, this is one I'm looking forward to.
Go for it.
Well, you sure? I mean, I feel like I went.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we have to acknowledge Lamar Jackson. First of all, personally, I think this guy is the crybaby of the NFL. I think I sincerely mean that with every inch of my soul. When things are going his way, he is ecstatic. He's a great team player, but let you miss a pass that he threw to you, he's going to throw the biggest temper tantrum and make up every excuse as to why his pass was perfect and why you did not catch that ball. So as a player, I don't like his antics. I don't like the way he conducts himself, and I don't like the way he leads his team. But you cannot deny his talent. You can't deny and you could easily argue this guy right now is probably the best quarterback in the NFL right now.
He's playing like it.
Yeah, absolutely. But at the same time, the Rams, I mean, they have a great defense. Their defense is very, very strong. It's just hard to see them slowing down, Lamar. But on the road, I don't know. With the Ravens being on the road, I guess in LA, man, I just don't like Lamar Jackson. But I'm gonna take Baltimore Ravens. I'm gonna take the Ravens on this one.
Yeah.
I am so offended,
Why?
man.
I know. I already know why.
Because Lamar Jackson has won my heart, man. I love this guy. And what you call a temper tantrum, I call passion for the game.
Basuda. Absolutely not.
The drive to win.
Okay, let's say Matt Ryan throws Julio Jones a ball, or let's say Matt Ryan throws 4 passes to Julio Jones. Julio Jones catches 2 of those passes, and 2 of those passes are touchdown. Matt Ryan, oh, good job, Julio. Now, let's say he throws it the other 2 times, and Julio drops it. And Matt Ryan's like, oh, man, you could have caught that ball, man. Come on. Like, that's crybaby-ish, bro.
No, that's normal, though. If he drops it, if it's a catchable ball, he drops it, that's the quarterback's job. You got to hold each other responsible. That is how that works.
And one thing you can say about Lamar, he does do that. But he also, when it doesn't work, he will take it into his own hands and show them how to do it.
You ever seen Tom Brady throw a temper tantrum?
Yes. He got very close to jumping down Josh McDaniels' throat at one time. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and there was also the story about him punting the ball into the crowd in practice or whatever. But
I'm also very convinced he does it to the refs like 3 times a game or something. Like every time he gets hit, basically.
Oh yeah, I bet he cusses them out on a game by game basis. But anyway, I think you're totally right, Hollywood, about the Rams here. They have a decent defense, but nothing can stop the MVP candidate that is Lamar Jackson. He is an innovator. He is the new hotness on the scene, and the defenses haven't figured out how to stop him yet.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks a lot like Mike Vick's first season in the league, where the defenses had no idea what to do with him. And I think that's going to continue at least until next season. I mean, at least through the end of this season. Maybe the Patriots will probably be the ones to figure it out. But until that time, I don't see the Rams doing it, and Jared Goff is hot garbage. And we're going to go with the Ravens on the road.
Man, whatever happened to the Rams offense, right? Yeah, I like that Michael Vick comparison. I was going to bring that up, actually. I wanted to hear how Hollywood reacts to that, because I know you love Michael Vick, one of your favorite players of the Falcons from the past. And yes, Lamar Jackson definitely draws those comparisons. He might be a better passer than Michael Vick when it comes down to it. I think he has a chance to be better than Michael Vick.
I don't think his accuracy is as good.
Well,
maybe not, but he's getting better.
He's getting better still. Like, he's starting his first full season, you got to remember. So I think if he keeps going like that, he'll have a chance to be better than Michael Vick. And I've seen people make the Steve Young comparison, and I don't think it's ridiculous, honestly. The way he's been playing right now, I mean,
he does look a lot like Steve Young.
He does, and that's a dangerous side, by the way, because he's the original dual threat. So
yeah.
I'll have to pick the Ravens. You can't pick against Lamar Jackson after what he did. After he outclassed the Patriots and the Texans, the 2 hottest, aside from the Chiefs, 2 hottest AFC playoff rivals. You can't pick against the Ravens. In this week, the Rams have massively underachieved. They're, for all intents and purposes, out of the playoff hunt with both Seattle and San Francisco lighting it up in the NFC West. And the Ravens are going to go to LA and they're going to beat them. So that's my pick, and that's our predictions, by the way. Teams on bye, we have the Vikings, Chargers, the Cardinals, and the Chiefs. Not too much there to be said. But yeah, that's the picks. It's going to be a pretty good week.
I agree. If I could ask you guys both a question, let's speak hypothetically here. If, let's say, the league ended this Sunday. Let's say the league ended.
Yeah.
Who takes MVP as quarterback as of right now?
Lamar.
Okay, I think we all are in agreement there.
It's Lamar Jackson and Russell Wilson gets like a couple of votes.
I think it'd be a tie between those two, but I think Lamar Jackson takes it.
Yeah.
I think
Lamar edges him out. It is close. I mean,
yeah.
Russell Wilson's still having one of the best seasons of his career, but got to give it to Lamar right now. I mean,
Yeah.
he's changed the
What
game.
about
Listen, Russell has struggled against the elite defense against the Niners, and Lamar just tore the Patriots apart.
What about this? What if Mahomes stayed healthy throughout the entire season? Do you think he would be in the hunt for MVP?
Yeah, he'd be front runner.
Yeah, you would have to think so. I mean, we saw what he did. A
healthy Patrick Mahomes is in a whole class by himself.
Yeah, okay, 100% healthy, maybe. Yeah.
Okay.
But as of right now,
Yeah,
Lamar,
and 100%
sure,
healthy Mahomes with a top 20 defense is the runaway MVP favorite every year.
All right, I just wanted to throw that question out there.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, I think a couple of weeks ago only we talked about how the circle of candidates for the MVP was still pretty wide open. It seems now to have really camped down to those two guys for the most part, because Deshaun Watson has kind of played himself out of that a little bit with the bad performance last week. Aaron Rodgers is coming off a bye week, to be completely fair, so he didn't get a chance to showcase his ability last week, and Patrick Mahomes missed a couple of games with the injury. So
right.
Also some problem, and then you got some guys who the offense, their system is designed for them to be in the MVP conversation because they're not going to rack up those stats. So I think Lamar Jackson, Russell Wilson are essentially going to be the two guys that it comes down to. But Smokey, you wanted to do this, so let's get into this a little bit before we get off the air. We have a couple minutes to go, so let's talk about some potential future NFL MVP quarterbacks that are still in education, namely college quarterbacks, and the whole Tua situation you want to talk about. And I'm sure, I know as a matter of fact, you want to talk about the current playoff seeding.
Well, let's get into Tua, because that's the big news of the week, right? This has to hurt his draft stock, no? I mean, it don't know. Has to, right?
I get if you're listen. This injury is an isolated thing. No, if you think he has a history, he's more injury prone than to other guys, and that's a serious concern for you, then yes.
I mean, we could go through the list of injuries. He's had a ton.
He's had a lot of injuries.
And there was that stretch last year of like 6 games where he had to go to the injury tent after every single drive. You know?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And he's been fragile and glass, and I like Tua. I think if he was healthy, he's a Lamar Jackson and a Patrick Mahomes type player. But I mean, somebody's going to give him a chance. There's no doubt about that. First round, it's kind of up in the air now.
Oh, he better go first round. He better go first round. Who's going to... No, he's going to go first round.
Yeah, well, Lamar Jackson, he did go very last.
He's got to go top 5. Let's be honest. Tua's got to go top 5 still.
Well,
top 5, top 10, he has to.
If the Browns were picking, he would.
Are 10 teams going to pass? No, if the Browns were picking, they take Jalen Hurts 1 overall.
They would, yeah, that's true. Jalen Hurts, first overall. Yeah, whoever wins the Heisman is going to...
Obviously, yeah, because that means so much. Nah, he's got to go. He's got to go top 10. You can't. 10 teams can't pass on Tua. That's foolish.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's possible that a lot more than 10 teams pass on him.
Is that a bet? But do we have a bet?
No, I'm not going to bet because I still kind of want to see him go in the top 10, you know?
Oh, yeah.
But this is the injury that ended Bo Jackson's career.
Yeah, the dislocated hip. But remember, that was like, 30, 40 years ago? That's a different situation.
More like 25, right?
Yeah. Different situation.
But, yeah. And with that being said, the Heisman, he's out of the Heisman for sure. I think this just comes down to Joe Burrow and Joe Burrow.
What about Justin Fields?
I think it's Joe Burrow. Well, you know what? He's probably in a tight second place right now, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Justin Fields, they're the LSU of the Big Ten. I mean, they're killing everybody.
I mean, you know what? To hell with the Heisman, man. That award means nothing. It means absolutely nothing to me anymore.
Yeah.
I've seen the Oklahoma Stat Patters win it back-to-back years. I couldn't care less about the Heisman.
Yeah. Well, and I'll tell you this too. We can't count out the kid from Cartersville either over at Clemson. Trevor is, he's really stepped up. He looked bad. He had a lull right there in the middle of the season. Yeah, but
Trevor Lawrence is looking decent.
He's really good.
He has returned. He's returned to top form, so we can't count him out either. I think that's what it is right now, is Burrow, Fields, and Lawrence.
Yeah. What about Justin Herbert? You don't think he's in that conversation?
Herbert and Fromm? I don't think Herbert.
Listen, I like Justin Herbert. I like him as the second, third best quarterback in the class. I don't think he's gonna I don't think a quarterback from Oregon is gonna win the Heisman. I think it's gonna come down. It's gonna come down to the SEC. Most things go to the SEC in college football, so it's just a tougher time for it.
Well, you never.
That's why Joe Burrow.
Right, and you never pick anybody for a Heisman if their last name is Herbert. Just want to throw that out there.
Do you not?
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah, I don't know enough about collegiate football, so I can't really weigh in too much. But I do know that Justin Fields and Joe Burrow, as well as Jalen Hurts and Justin Herbert, as much as I don't like that last name. But I just know, and the quarterback from Clemson, Lawrence, and me being from South Carolina, I'm gonna always go Gamecocks, Clemson, then Georgia. But those are the 5 that I could easily see having an outstanding performance. Yeah.
I feel like
it's really Joe Burrow's to lose at this point.
Yeah, I agree.
Three of the top 5 Heisman runners are from Georgia. I just figured I'd point that out right now. Cartersville, Kennesaw, and where's from like Swainsboro or somewhere down south.
Interesting.
And Georgia produces a lot of football players.
Yes, and a lot of quarterbacks lately.
Yeah, I think also highest per capita average amount of NFL players, if I'm not mistaken.
Say that one again. I missed that stat.
Highest average or per capita NFL players out of every state, if I'm not mistaken. Georgia.
Oh yeah. I definitely believe that. I never saw the stat or anything, but yeah, that definitely makes sense. And you got to think Texas and California is in that conversation. But what do you think now? LSU's winning the whole thing. What do you think? Give me your top 4.
Top 4 right now for the playoff. LSU, Ohio State, Clemson, and Oregon. Maybe Georgia.
Oregon. Oh, God. You've been reading Joel Klatt's
listen,
material
man.
again.
You don't lose to an unranked team. I don't care how many of the other favorites, by God knows what circumstances, somehow drop out of the playoff race. Oklahoma disqualifying themselves with a terrible loss. Alabama losing Tua, and that's the only reason that they should make the playoff. You don't go ahead and you lose to an unranked team and you make the playoff over, say Oregon. I would. By the way, for the record, I'd love to see Oregon or Utah or someone make the playoff who usually wouldn't and take this opportunity. I can see them going with either Georgia or Alabama anyway, just because of the status quo. But I would love for it to not be the case.
Well, I'll go ahead and put this out there right now. Oregon would get beat by LSU,
Georgia,
Alabama, Georgia,
Clemson,
Auburn.
By Alabama Florida. Without Tua? Alabama without Tua versus Oregon?
Yeah. Yeah, I think Mac would come in there and beat Oregon. Tell you the truth.
I don't know, man. That Alabama secondary is pretty young.
That defensive line is not really great right now, so they might have a good running chance on them, but I don't see Oregon as a real contender. I know there's a few of the SEC haters that love to throw their name in there, but I don't see it. But anyway, yeah, I would take Oregon out and put Georgia in there for sure. Because I think heads up right now, Georgia is beating Alabama with Mac at quarterback.
Yeah, with no Tua for sure they are. I would think so.
But it's all going to come down to the SEC championship. Because if Georgia wins, they're in. If they don't win, they're out because they're not going to put a 2-loss team in there. I think you said that already, but yeah, we're definitely going to see what happens in the SEC championship. That's going to determine the playoffs for sure. And it's going to be a good matchup because if you look at it, Georgia's a heavy run team. They're run first. and LSU doesn't have a great run defense. And Georgia has an amazing number 1 in the nation defense.
Yes.
And LSU has not faced a dominant defense this season, but Georgia hasn't faced an offense that dominant. The best offense they faced so far was Florida. So this should prove to be a really great matchup. And it's not going to come to like a shootout like Auburn and I mean like Alabama and LSU was, but I think we could see a really close battle in the 20s, 28 to 21 or something like that.
So you think that so say Georgia loses, who's in? What do you think?
I lost that whole sentence.
If Georgia loses the SEC championship, who's in instead at 4?
Instead, Jesus, I wouldn't. I don't see how they could put it. Yeah, I mean, maybe it is Oregon or Oklahoma wins against Baylor.
No way.
They throw them in again.
No way.
See, that was the problem. Well, that was the problem last year. They threw Notre Dame in there just because they were undefeated and they didn't have a championship. And then Joel Klatt goes on this rant about Oklahoma's the 3rd best team in the nation. They're better than Notre Dame. They're good enough to play Alabama and Clemson. Oh my God, I can't stand that dude. But yeah, he goes off, and the committee listens to him for some reason. Yeah. Throw him in there so they can get stomped out once again in the first round, and then they go back home and cry that they're good but not good enough. I don't know, but please don't. If the committee were to hear this, please don't put Oklahoma
not again.
In there again.
Don't do it again,
please. I'd rather see Oregon than Oklahoma.
Yeah, I'd rather see a lot of people other than Oklahoma this time. It's seen enough.
I'd rather see Penn State go in there than Oklahoma.
Yeah, I'd rather see Auburn. God, I don't know, not Oklahoma.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I do agree with that. So, to me, LSU, Ohio State are locks, Clemson very likely, and it's just going to come down to that 4th spot. And I think, listen, if Georgia beats LSU, I think they might redeem themselves, and they might have a shot at making it. If not, it's going to be tough.
It's 100% if they beat LSU.
Yeah, they should make it. Because nothing else unforeseen is going to happen. Alabama's without Tua, so they're just not that appealing. And man, a playoff without Alabama, when does that ever happen, huh?
I don't know, but that's cause for celebration.
Yeah, no, it's not, is it? I don't know. I'm gonna celebrate the fact that there's no Oklahoma and no Auburn. That's what I'm gonna celebrate.
There hasn't been a playoff without Alabama yet since the incarnation of the playoff system.
First time for everything. Maybe we'll see it this year. But who are we gonna be rooting for then? I guess Ohio State.
Yeah, I mean, if Georgia's not in it, I think Ohio State might be my favorite.
Yeah, I think Ohio State. Unless we might see like Oregon, I might just because of the underdog, I might just root for them. But on that, probably Ohio State. Not a huge Clemson fan, not a huge LSU fan. So, that's the whole SEC thing. So it might be Ohio State for me. But we'll see.
Yeah, because I'm a Justin Fields fan.
Yeah.
So I think I would go with Ohio State.
So have you contemplated the bet, the Jake Fromm bet?
Man, it's still tough. I think he goes number 3 overall.
Of quarterbacks.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Number 3 of quarterback. Oh yeah, I said overall. Made it sound like I'm talking about the 3rd pick, but no.
Let's put the want to put the over under at 3 or at 4.
I'll take 4 because I mean, this is all. There's got to be a caveat though, because if he decides to stay for one more year for some reason,
of course. I mean, the bet is off. Yeah. Okay, here's the deal, right?
But
we'll put the over under at 3.5, meaning that if he goes top 3, you win. If he doesn't go top 3, I win. If either him or Tua decide for some reason to stay for another year, the bet is off.
Okay.
Because there's rumor right now that Tua might just stay for another year.
Yeah, I don't see why he would. I would take that.
We have 3 bets.
I mean,
today,
even if he's a second rounder.
What do we bet?
If I were him,
one monster.
Yeah,
All
let's
right.
go for it.
Great. I'm going to also write that down. I'm going to have to do that all that after the pod. You got to remind me what the kind of bets we had because there was a lot. So we'll have to write that down after the pod. I think we have this one. We have the Packers-Niners game, and we have Jameis's interceptions. I think the over/under is 3 for one game.
Yes.
So all right, so I'm gonna write that down. All right, we've been going at it for a while now. Hollywood, it's been great to have you around. Maybe at some point you'll want to come back. We'll be happy to have you on again. Maybe even with JJ, so we'll have a full discussion.
Sure,
at that point,
I'd love to, man.
If you want to expand to that point, but as for now, we're going to be done. It's going to be an interesting week in the NFL. Got a lot of great games ahead of us, and we're going into the hot phase now because. A lot of teams are still struggling for playoffs, especially in the NFC. It's a tough life out there because the division is so stacked, the conference is so stacked. So, looking forward to a lot of good games. For now, we're done. Do you guys have anything to add to this?
Smokey?
No, I think that's it for me this week, and it's gonna be a good week of football.
Same here. No, man, I appreciate you guys having me on, and I'm definitely interested in looking forward to our picks and see how this week plays out.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Then everybody, thank you for watching. Please drop a like on this video. If you're watching on Beyond Football, go check out the Trash Talkers channel. Link to that is on my channel page. And if you're from their channel, come on over to mine and check out some of my content and subscribe for more episodes of the Scoreboard and predictions throughout the entire NFL season and postseason. Keeping you covered with NFL news around the year. So hopefully we're going to see you in the next one. And until then, we'll see you next time.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Peace.
Deuces.